there's safeguards that you need to do as well.
Yes.
Make sure your landlord is paying the payments.
So I went to a tax. Poor girl. I feel so bad for her. Went to a tax sale, right? Or not to a tax sale, but I went out to do my diligence. And I was walking around, and a lady came out, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, the house is being sold in 2 days to a tax sale. I'm here for a company to take pictures." And she's like, "Oh my God, my landlord didn't tell me." So as I'm taking pictures, she's trying to call her landlord. She's getting ready to lose her house. And then I walk around to this, and it comes down to a slumlord too. I walk around to the other side of the house. There's a big hole dug out, and it's nothing but black sewage inside of this. I don't know if you went out, you might have seen that house, but it had a big black sewage hole next to it, and it hurts my heart because those people are living like that, and they probably can't call the city to tell them to condemn it because they don't have nowhere to live.
They have nowhere to go.
And then they got a landlord that's collecting whatever rent he's collecting, didn't pay the taxes, and they're getting ready to be it. And then I don't know if they had running water or no sewage, but it was just.
It's sad to go down to the housing court.
I see that,
and you see almost the same group of people all the time.
It breaks my heart, and it's like they get in that rut and they can't get out, but yeah,
but then there's other people that just don't care.
Yeah, they don't need to.
But some of those properties that they raise, they could be saved.
That one I sold could have been. He was going to go in there and remodel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to go in there and gut it all out.
But
city can't deal with it. And I understand city; they got so much, and they, like you said too, you get squatters and hoarders, and they're in there with fire, trying to heat the place, and they burn the place down. And I've ran into that more times than not, that they've been in there trying to heat it and burn it, catch the place on fire. So, or the worst is when you go downstairs and you find the bathrooms are used. Like overflowing used. But yeah, we're not going to tell about those horror stories yet.
And we both have them.
Oh man, my 2 years in. I mean, I've seen it. I couldn't imagine 20 years. But my 2 years. But I enjoy it. Like, it's something that I love real estate. And that was something that I do enjoy, is going out. Man, you probably got a couple of them. Do you have a big mistake that you've made in real estate? That
probably
just
a lot.
To mind? Yeah. Oh, I have them. I got 2 years. You'll make mistake. And the thing in real estate is you learn something new all the time. Things are always changing, and no matter what, you're going to make mistakes. It's just nature.
Trusting people.
Facts. Yeah. Trusting. Yeah. Or getting joint ventures with people, I hear. And I'm always really leery of it because I do hear those stories.
If they burn you once, they're going to burn you again.
It's true. I can believe that. Absolutely. And, and it also comes down to that, if you do a joint venture, you get somebody in, is making sure you do the diligence of getting a good contract together, which sometimes, it's just like renters, if they tore the house up, trash it, they probably don't have the money to get.
But it comes back down to, don't do business with friends and family.
God, I can't tell that enough, dude. I'm being serious.
Yes, you try to help them. You want to help them. But all you're doing is hurting yourself.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not at that moment, but you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Or you're going to hurt the friend. And that's the biggest thing. And that's why I told Roy, my friends, because some of them needed part-time jobs. They'd be going through something, and they'd come in and want a job. And if anything, I'd let them maybe work a day or two. It wasn't hey, I got to fire you. Hey, here's some extra cash to help you out. But it's because I didn't want to burn those friendships. My friendship with people is more than you come to work for me, because I was in the business long enough that friendships run. It doesn't matter, And with family, Thanksgiving dinner does not taste the same when I got to pay my mom a paycheck.
Don't borrow money from friends or family either,
because they use it on. Yeah, and people will ruin a friendship over $20.
It will.
Over $20 will not pay it back and ruin it over. Yeah, but yeah, no, don't work with friends, family.
Don't do it.
Don't borrow money from friends, family. Go to a legit business, or make sure you got that properly done.
And there's great lenders out there.
There's a lot of them. I mean, hell, in the investment group, man, I know 4 people that will lend money to it. As long as you got a deal and the numbers
Yep.
are the way they are, they'll write a check to you as long as you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, which you need to be doing. You know.
You know, I loved to start my day early. I can get more done
Yes.
before most of the people,
Even get up
you know,
and do it.
you have your 9 o'clock stragglers, and once that 9 o'clock stragglers, the phones start ringing off the hook. You don't get anything done at that time.
Nothing.
But that 5 to 9 period, I can go down a list and go boom, 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 boom.
I'm a 5 o'clocker in the morning.
Yeah,
I don't start working at 5, but I do get out of bed and start going.
the early
And,
bird gets the worm.
It is. Well, and it's getting up and going. It's just you gotta hustle. That's it. You gotta get up and you gotta go do it. And I've always been that way. I've always been an entrepreneur, and I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, you have a fire that burns in you. You want more, and that's the way I feel. I was like, I'm always wanting more, than what I have, and that motivates me to get up and go out and do the cold calling. Or like yesterday night, I went over to that guy's house, door knocked on his house because he had 17 properties, and I want to know. And first words, he's like, "How'd you track me down?" Dude, I'm a realtor, bro. And the thing is right, all of his stuff says he lives in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
So all of his stuff is being sent to Hawaii. He has one property in Hawaii, $1 million home in Hawaii, that his name's on. I don't know if it's his or not, but he had that there. And then he had 16 properties here, and he lives in one of those properties here.
He does. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then I walked out. He's like, how'd you find me? And honestly, I was in here with the investors, and I was like, man, I'm trying to track this down, guy down. He's like, man, he lives next door to one of my properties. I was like, but networking, I mean, that's what it comes down to in this business. It is networking and keeping those communications with people and being out, and a lot of people understand that's how you get business. Like I was dealing with another realtor here, and I sold one of his property. We're actually closing on it tomorrow. And I asked him, I said, do you have any more? He said, no. I said, do you know of anybody that has some of these junk properties they don't want? He's like, yeah. He gave me 4 properties to sell, just like that, in that one conversation, and which I didn't get to sell. I didn't sell them. The guy was wanting too much, and then turned around and sold them as a package, which was right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sold them as a package. But the point was, I got that opportunity by just asking. One of the things I always say is, worst thing somebody say is no, and if you don't ask, you won't get.
That's right.
Yeah. Another thing is the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So, and that comes back to follow up. A lot of people don't do the follow up, and I enjoy So the way I usually market is I'll do the driving for dollars, where I just drive around neighborhoods. I'll find boarded up homes, and then I'll go back and actually handwrite them a letter, and I'll mail it, and then I try to call them, and then if I can't get a hold of you, I'll actually go beat on your door at 7 o'clock at night when I know you're home, and then talk to you. So,
after you're in the business as much as I am, you count on those referrals.
Yeah, well, you've been 20 years. You got that. I'm still new, so I'm trying to build up that my list where I can, people call me or, like I see Joe here. I don't know how this dude does it, man. He's so busy, bro. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he needs 2 assistants at all times. And people tell me, like, I texted Joe. I was like, I work for Joe, and it takes Joe 2 days to text me back. I was like, it's not you. This is like
Yeah,
Joe.
absolutely.
But he's the
Joe's great on the commercial side.
Oh, dude, Joe. I admit, I could talk bad about some realtors and things, but man, Joe is straight from the heart, dude. He's great guy.
Absolutely.
And not just because I work here, it's just because Joe really is a great guy, and I think anybody you ask around Evansville that knows Joe would say that. And I feel honestly very blessed and to work here because he doesn't take just any realtor off the street. He's had a lot of people come and ask to work here, and he doesn't do it. And I've caused him a lot of gray hairs. So I've been here those last 2 years because I'm aggressive, and I do. At the end of the day, it's either I try to get the deal or somebody else is going to get it, and I try.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm hitting 23 closings.
That's
this
wonderful.
year, which puts me, I feel, in one of the top guys. I've made a lot of money because it's the little houses, but I'm still my goal this year is next year when we go to our yearly meeting, I stand up there and I take an award for our company.
Wonderful.
That's what I'm fighting for.
And you can do it.
I can. Yeah, I'll clear 50. If way things are going, I should clear 50 closings this year, which is phenomenal for a realtor.
Most people do 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And they call that a good year.
Yeah, no, that's shit year.
Yeah.
My goal is I want 100 closings. That is my goal is 100 closings, and I'll have 50 this year. And really, I did commercial last year. Commercial is hard to be in. That is a hard industry to be in. And what I realized in commercial
Do you think
is
so much different?
it is different.
It's a lot slower.
But trying to prospect is your commercial people are seasoned. You don't get a lot of brand new investors in there like you do real estate. So whenever I talk to these commercial people that own the real estate, they already have realtors.
They do.
They already have their people. Or I can't tell you how many times I've called up and be like, oh, these days from Han Kiefer, like, oh, tell Joe I said hey, or tell Troy I said hey, and because they already have that relationship. So that was one of the reasons I moved out of commercial, because I started in residential and then I went over to commercial. Payout's a lot bigger,
Yeah, absolutely.
a lot slower, but then I moved back over to this because, like I said, I feel my niche are these investment tax sale properties, and going from 2 closings commercial last year to 23, so far this year, and then I'll hit 50, by the end of the year. So, but again, it just gets out like just you got to get out, and you got to do it, you got to hustle, and you can't sit at home play video games. I can't tell you. No, I take that back. I got an Oculus. I played a game 2 days ago on my VR. But when I go home, I don't watch TV. I might have it playing in the background, but I'm usually on my laptop. And like I sent you stuff last night at 8:30.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what it takes. 5:30. I was still working at 8:30 last night. Oh, I wonder if I ran out. So with that last night. So that's really what it comes down to is you got to get out, and you got to do it, and you got to hustle, and a lot of people just don't have that. And I do see it in that investment meeting. People come out and they want to do it, but they only come one time. And I try to tell people, I was like, the only way that this works is if you come out here and know these people. They will invest in you if they know you. Mm-hmm. And that's the same way when I had my restaurant and I did catering business. Is that I wasn't here right now to sell you something. I was here to sell you when you needed me.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing, with all this. So,
a couple other organizations. You have that weekly meeting, but there's also the POMA. They meet twice a year.
POMA,
Property Owners and Managers Association. Great group of people. Wonderful meetings. Typically April and October. And
I'll try to post a link on here on that. So,
and if anybody's interested in tax sales, there's a tax sale seminar once a year. It's up in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's hosted by the Richards Law Firm, and you're going to find out in 8 hours so much information that will blow your mind.
Nice. I'd be interested in that.
It's you can do it in person, which the in person's wonderful. I typically try to make it every year. Actually have presented on that panel, but they also now offer a Zoom style meeting as well, where if you can't make it to Indianapolis, you can do it from your home, your office.
That's awesome.
It's wonderful. I mean, they cover everything from why pay taxes all the way up to bankruptcy. This year they're going to talk about what happens to the surplus money.
Right.
If the tax lien's $2,500, you pay $100,000. There's a big amount of surplus. What happens to that?
Right.
And there's a group of investors that all they do is, find people to connect them to surplus.
Yeah.
And you can get a percentage of that. So, that's a great. I think it's IndianaTaxSeminar.com if I'm not mistaken. But it's Billy Richards and his brother Scott. They do a wonderful seminar up there in Indianapolis, and highly recommend that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll post that up there for people so they can click on it. I'll put it in a link if I can track that down on that.
I know one of your questions was, what should an investor that's starting?
Yeah, a new one.
Yeah, what's your best advice?
Yeah.
Start that IRA LLC.
IRA LLC. There you go.
IRA LLC.
Yeah. I think that is a great. Yeah, because, man, you could just build, like you said, just build your IRA up, and then when you do retire, you cash out, you got tax-free.
But, the biggest thing is Investors are here to help you.